This little chippy actually changes things. This little purple PCB can plug into the control board of an S19j Pro, and just like Grima Wormtongue, chief advisor to King Theoden in Lord of the Rings, it can whisper lies into the ears of this Bitcoin miner. Very convincing lies, and this brilliant and potentially game-changing solution will seize control over the power structure, allowing you to run your money printer on 120 volts of power. I said it, and I'll say it another way. With this surprisingly inexpensive hardware hack, you can run your bitmain antminer S19j Pro on what some people consider a regular outlet. There are, of course, some trade-offs. Let me tell them to you now. But first, a very brief backstory. A backstory that took me 4 hours and over 100 gigabytes of SD card space to film with 3 cameras in 4K. A man from Utah named Zach Bombsta came to visit me right here in the space warehouse. This, of course, making Zach the 6th outsider to appear on this channel in this space. Zach, an electrical engineer, came to the warehouse and together we installed this little chippy. Really, he did it while I asked him basic questions about electricity and S19 control boards. But this thing serves as a brilliant workaround to the challenging 240 volts that many a would-be at-home Bitcoin home miner can't overcome. With only his magic hands and a screwdriver, Zach deftly rewired the AM logic board I currently have in charge of my demo unit, hanging out at the warehouse, and showed me that by repurposing an APW3 power supply, this is the box that powers the S9 and the L3++ Bitcoin and Litecoin miners, you can power one of the hash boards from an S19j Pro with the 120 volt power box from these legacy miners. This power supply plugs into a regular household outlet in the United States, and it'll run on 220 also if you're outside the United States. This does mean that if you want to run a full S19j Pro on 120 volts this way, which you absolutely can do, you'll do that by getting your hands on 2 additional control boards. These are like $100 a pop, and 2 additional APW3 power supplies, also cheaply attained. You can get them through Musk Miners. If you want to get your hands on one of these little Loki boards, I have a link below with a discount if you use the code SDW, and then you can talk to the Musk Miner boys if you need to pick up extra control boards or APW3 power supplies. Just make sure to tell them that you came from me. On his website, Zach has some pretty good documentation on how to perform the hardware hack. It's very simple. You do have to cut off all of the 6-pin ends that used to go from the APW3 to the hash boards of the L3++, but it's actually really easy to do that, just a little cumbersome to show it. So pretty much all of these little yellow cords are hot and all these little black cords are ground. So you end up just bundling all of the yellow ones and then bundling all the black ones together, and you tie them straight into the bus boards of the S19. The reason this works is because these older miners and these newer miners, by the time the power from your wall actually finds its way all the way to the hash boards, these things run on about 12 volts. Well, between 12 and 15 volts depending on your overclock. And if you look at the spec sheet of the APW3, this thing alone is capable of putting out over 1200 watts, which, as you should know, is 2 things. 1, more watts than you need for 1/3 of an S19j Pro to run, and also less watts than will pop a breaker in a typical 15 amp plug at your house. A perfect recipe for smaller, quieter, cooler running mini S19j Pros. Call it the S19j Prolit. And we did confirm that when you use one of these little things, your miner will still run at the same efficiency. So you're legit able to run basically a 1000 watt 34 terahash S19j Pro. You can still underclock them, you can still overclock them, though that gets a bit more complicated. You have to open this thing up and there's a little dial in here that like turns back the voltage. Basically, when you're underclocking or overclocking one of these machines, you're gonna manually set the voltage that goes to the hash boards. And then with a third-party firmware, you'll go in and like try to match the clock speed for that particular voltage. It'll take some trial and error. Zach has also confirmed, and I was able to recreate his findings, that this does work with Vanish, HiveOS, ASIC.to, Brains, and Luxor firmwares, as well as the default bitmain firmware. Installing this thing does require a bit of doing, and if you're gonna split your S19 into 3 individual 120 volt hash boards, you're gonna need to figure out some way of cooling them. Although I don't really see a reason why you couldn't just leave all 3 in this case, power them separately, and then cool them with one of these AC Infinity and Shroud combos. Link below. Those also run on 120 volts. Zach also has this little chiplet, calls it the Njord Board, that will control the AC Infinity fans from the bitmain control board. So basically, instead of having fan spoofers, this little guy will plug right in where the fan spoofers go, and it can send commands to this fan to speed up and slow down based on the heat of the miner, so your miner will stay the same temperature all the time, which is better for longevity. You could combine these boards to create some sort of Frankenstein air cooling solution for one hashboard at a time, something I plan to do in a few weeks after I'm done with all this traveling. There's already a few people online that have been messing with this thing and making their own contraptions and cooling it. Of course, in true fashion for my projects, unfortunately, we had an unplanned and immediate disassembly of an 8-inch AC Infinity fan. Something at some point in its life got sucked into that thing and created some sort of little micro crack that grew. And as luck would have it, while the camera was running, it managed to give way in the most startling fashion. I've got links below for all of this stuff, and of course, a very safe place where you can buy Bitcoin mining hardware through Musk Miners. Musk Miners also has a brand new facility available in Iowa for hosting, and it's ready to go. They got spots. I'll be doing a video on that in a couple of weeks. I've got an S19 XP hosted over there, and so far, 100% uptime. So, Loki board, Njord board, good shit.
Right where the fan spoofers went.
Okay.
And then the last thing we're going to do is find that insanely long cord coming out of the Njord Cloudline board. I had pre-modified it so we didn't have to do the soldering here in warehouse. And then we're going to put this little jumper, this little shunt jumper. Right, so if I unplug it,
you're a madman.
It doesn't. Oh, and notice, if it unplugs, it fails on. You can get to a point where you're trying to clock too fast for how much voltage you have available. So you got to balance that voltage and that clock speed. The nice thing about Vanish is 11.99 volts.
Oh, okay. So basically right at 12 volts.
Yep, right at 12 volts there.
Okay. So this is, at the moment, it is pulling 6.33, 6.34 amps.
Message from so the control board will go out to the hashboard and say, hey, what's your hash voltage? And the hashboard will read the voltage and report that back. Well, it whispers lies, right? It jumps in, it lets the control board and hashboard talk back and forth to each other, but then as soon as the control board asks for the voltage, it butts in and says this is what the voltage is. Right where that power supply data cable went, and you'll notice on here it's got this these little arrows that say towards control board edge. So we've got this connector in the back that's going to plug in right there.
Okay.
And then we want to make sure that those arrows are pointing towards the control board edge.
Okay.